We're going to do this in order.
Yep, we're going in curriculum order. So, leading off, the one, the only, and God, he's ready to go, Dominic Koletes.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
This is kind of fun. I get to teach the teachers. I was here in 2002, so some of you guys actually taught me. Real quick question. What do you call a ghost that haunts talk show hosts?
The ghost host?
Ghost host, that's good. The Phantom of the Opera.
Good start.
I mean, okay. Okay, I try to have a lot of fun when I teach because I love what I do, and I think students that come here are doing it because they're trying to sort of leave the traditional educational system, which is based upon stuff they don't want to learn. So I like to have a lot of fun when I teach. I want to talk about film theory today. Film theory is made up of 4 individuals. Myself, I am the course director. I'm the course director. Of course, Morgan Sandler, as many as you know, is our associate course director. We have our 2 industry specialists over there, Mr. Josh Ellis. You want to raise your hand, Mr. Josh? Sexy man over there. And of course, Mark Bashan. Found the sexiest photos we could find of all of us. And all of us make up film theory. Now, actually, Morgan couldn't be here today to help out because he's actually on vacation with his wife. He's actually in Australia. So we were stuck with putting the presentation together. Which is great, actually. He's having a great time. He sent some photos. I actually want to show you guys. Here he is, actually hanging out with the co-family. And here he is horseback riding. He's having a great time. And he's sailing. So he's having a So we miss him terribly. We can't wait to see him again.
You really should send those to Morgan before he comes.
Oh, definitely. So we are Film Theory. Luckily, we have the blessing of being the absolute first class that the students get when they come to the program. I think we have a responsibility not only to educate our students and prepare them for the months that lay ahead, but also generate an energy, an enthusiasm, a passion, a code of conduct, a sense of responsibility that they'll carry with them through the rest of the program. Now, even though our class is called Film Theory, our class is actually equally as, and even more so, hands-on than it is theory. That's because what I love about this film program, and I had been here in 2002 as a student, and as we all know, this program differs from the traditional film school model in which you spend 2 years talking about film theory and film studies and film history. It's not until your actual junior year, your 3rd year of schooling, that someone actually gives you a camera. And so what I loved about this school, and I think what we all love about this school, is that we have a very hands-on approach. And so in film theory, day 1, hi, welcome to film school, here's a camera, here's your film project, see you in 5 days with your first film project. Very, very different approach, because I believe that we are of the mentality that you learn how to make films the same way you learn how to do anything, and that's by doing it, by actually physically doing it. I think one of our secondary objectives in film theory is to help the students get through what I call the awkward phase as quickly and as efficiently as possible. The awkward phase is the idea that some of these students that are coming to the film school have never even held a camera before. They just love movies their whole life. And so I make the analogy, I'm going to give you a camera today, I'm going to send you out on a shoot, but I want you to understand this. Remember when you first learned how to ride a bicycle? You're riding your bike, you're kind of wobbly. When you first learned how to drive a car, hands attended to, checking your mirrors vigorously, you understood that to get good at these things, you had to get through this awkward period first. It's just a natural part of the learning process. And so our goal in film theory is to give them a camera, make them shoot every single week, 2 times a week, 3 times a week. So the idea being that even though some of these students have come here on day 1, never having touched a camera, ideally, if our program is working, by the end of our month, the idea of grabbing a camera, writing a screenplay, crewing up, going to shoot it, bringing it back for a review, yeah, we do it every week. No big deal. And as they continue through the program, of course, into Romances Month, they're doing the same thing. And as they move forward and forward, they're doing this all the time. And all of a sudden, that awkward, that discomfort, that fear is trained out of them. So to sort of make this as simple as possible, I broke our month into 4 blocks, 4 weeks. Every week, they get a shooting assignment. And every week, we give them an additional piece of technology. So week 1, hi, welcome to film school. Here's the Lost and Found project. And here's a camera, your first piece of technology. That's all you get. No lights, no sound, no editing, just the camera and this assignment. Now with that project, with this aspect of technology comes certain objectives for the film theory team. Those objectives are the basic elements that we need to teach them. They need to know basic story structure. They have to know some basic cinematography, as far as aperture, as far as lenses, long lens, wide lens. basic XL2 training, set cadence, how to run a set, how to behave on set protocol, and visual storytelling. How can I use color, composition, lighting, shadows, contrast to help improve the quality of my lost and found project? So in this lab, what we do is we give the students a series of prompts. We say, with these props and with your camera and with your actor, you have to tell us a whole story, beginning, middle, and end, but you can't use any words, no dialogue. Again, this is their second day of film school. And I have a little example of that visual narrative. And that's after roughly 8 hours of film school. So I think that's relatively impressive. So ideally, at this point, after sort of having some basic understanding of basic story structure, how to organize that story, how to tell a story visually, how to use your XL2 camcorder, now we break them up into mini groups of mini production companies. So I have a class of 40 or 20 or however many, we break them into groups of 5. They become a mini production company. Now that group of 5 is responsible that weekend for shooting 5 lost and found projects. Every student makes their own film every week. And so they go out and spend all weekend shooting their own projects. Now, and then Monday morning, we come back here, we meet here at 8 a.m. in this 345 THX fully surround sound, 4K high definition projected theater system to watch their movies. So Monday morning, we have the world premiere of the Lost and Found projects. Now, what makes this course, I wouldn't say unique, but definitely exceptional, is the fact that every weekend they bust their ass making these films, and then every Monday morning, we come in here and watch every single one of them. But not just the class as a whole, but myself, Mark Bashan, Josh Ellis, Morgan Sandler, and Joe Byron. And every week we come in here to discuss these films. And our course is very much also about learning how to discuss films intelligently. Then we're into week 2, and I gotta move now because I'm already down 10. I'm like 1/4 of the way through. Moving fast. Then we're into the painting project. The painting project is now, the objective is I want you to find a painting and I want you to recreate it. Create a live action version of an existing painting. So this week becomes very, very heavy in cinematography and advanced camera techniques. So in lighting, we talk a lot about 3-point lighting, color, we talk about composition, we talk about contrast, we talk about depth of field. How do we approach this painting project, which seems really, really daunting at the time, and how do we break it down piece by piece by piece, and then recreate it piece by piece by piece? We also discuss how filmmakers have used art for a very long time to not only sort of come up with visual styles, but also as shot selection, as this example from About Schmidt, thanks to Joe Byron. In addition, if you're doing research, right, how important is art as far as research? You're doing a period piece, what you do first is your research, and then you begin to place your camera, not before. Not many of you guys know this, but actually Stanley Kubrick got most of his ideas for The Shining from The Simpsons. Sweet word. Okay, and then they come back, and the lab that day they have, after having all this lighting discussion, the lab they have is a Mole Richardson field trip. Now, Mole Richardson is the premier lighting rental house in the industry. Another aspect of this month in our course, of course, is to introduce the students to the people in the industry that are doing it, the people they're going to be working with for the rest of their career. So they get down, they get to handle the big lights, the big stuff. They get to handle, Larry hasn't taken a 20K off of its light stand. It's kind of fun to watch. Our last lecture on Friday is production management. Basically, we just give them cameras, and we give them lights, we give them plugs, we give them electricity. We better teach them safety. So Mark does a whole thing about on-set protocols, safety, doing first AD responsibilities, second AD responsibilities, creating call sheets, having an organized set, and safety, safety, safety. That is followed by Final Cut session, their second session of Final Cut, and a movie scene recreation which I don't have time for. How much time I got? It looks really great. And they go out and they shoot their painting projects. And so we break them up into new groups, new production companies, and they go out with new groups and spend all weekend shooting their painting projects. And you guys have seen the reel that we've had Bill show a couple times, so we're just going to show you a couple of our favorites. It's really astounding what these individuals create being in film school after 2 weeks. After the end of the second week, it's amazing what they create. And it is astounding. It creates a really strong sense of confidence in the student about, wow, I could really do this. They cheated. Moving forward. Week 3 objective. Okay, so now they got the next assignment. Next assignment is the working project. Working project is now, I'm giving a book of monologues. The goal is to sort of take a short bit of text out of this monologue, and they are to create a 2-person scene based upon, again, to convey the story based upon the action, the reaction, and the subtext, not the words. The idea is they can't tell us the story, but they have to be conveyed via these other elements. This is all about how a director approaches a screenplay. The new piece of technology they get now is an external microphone and boom holes, because now sound has become really, really important. With that, we have a new objective as well, which is very much about how a director approaches a screenplay. That is broken up into Lecture 6 to review our painting projects. Lab 6 is we have a casting session. Caroline Kerrigan teaches a casting session where she has actual professional actors come in and read for the students. It's sometimes for the students the first time they've ever had this opportunity. They read between 6 and 10 actors, and it's a really, really incredible lab. Final Cut Pro session 3 is also another lab. Lecture 7 and 8 focus on Wednesday and Friday are all about screenplay analysis. How does a director approach a screenplay in order to put it into production? So the screenplay analysis consists of the dramatic workbook, that consists of the line script, the shot list and storyboards, all about the creative preparation necessary for the students to take a screenplay into production. This is also the nature of the work they have to do with the working project. They have to prepare it on this level of professionalism. Our last lab that week is another casting session followed by another Final Cut Pro session. Then they go out into their new production company groups. Now they go shoot their working. They spend all weekend shooting their working projects. It's about a weekend long. They shoot 5 projects. They come back, and here we go, another world premiere, the working project. We do the same thing all over again. And then we're in week 4. Week 4, now we're going to, this is hard, 15 minutes. Waiting for Bill to go.
Oh, you missed that.
Almost there. Almost there. So we got it. And so the last aspect of technology, week 4 is all about assessment, and we want to incorporate our last thing, which is going to be editing. Up to this point, they have done no editing. They've been training with Mark for the last 2.5 weeks about how to edit, but we've not let them edit. So at this point, it's not about assessing how well we've done in the past 3 weeks and getting them ready to go into the next month, which is Drew and Nancy's Art of Film and Video, where now it's about tackling one large project for real. Now we give them scenes from movies, and I said, we want you to cover the scene. We need a master shot, over the shoulder, close up, and then cut these things together. And so I want to show you this really kind of fun example of a coverage lab, it's real short, how the editor student took a scene that was relatively bland, relatively boring, and found some way to spice it up using the subtext. Having just come out of the working project, he wanted to convey the story via the subtext by the action and the reaction.
You don't know where Mr. Murray's having lunch.
I don't know, I think.
Tell him I'll be back.
As it was, it worked as far as telling the story via subtext, the action and reaction. I thought it was brilliant. Okay. That's fine, you guys didn't. Moving on. Our last lecture is a discussion all about moving forward and discuss the nature of the intimate window, what they'll be experiencing in the course of the next month and in the course of the next coming months. The final lab, of course, is their final. The final happens in two ways. One is a written final exam, both multiple choice, fill in the blank, and essay answers, that is broken up into a directing, a story, a cinematography, production management, and an FCP written final exam. Second portion of that final is a hands-on assessment, which happens in 501, where Josh gives the students parameters. They have to set up a camera a particular way, light a particular way. Josh comes in, gives notes, and see if they can do the basics. The goal here is to make sure that when they get into art of film and video, they have the basic understanding of these fundamental concepts. This is the overall concept of our 4 weeks. I think it works really, really well going into the art of film and video. Last thing I'll say is we have a couple special events that we do kind of frequently. Actually, Michael Weiss was a writer that came in once. He was a feature film screenwriter that wrote Journey to the Center of the Earth. It was a really good treat for the students to get to meet this individual. Every month we have Brian Muntz comes in, who's a stunt performer and stunt rigger, talks about safety, talks about what it's like to be a stunt performer and rigger on shows like Heroes and CSI, Miami, and Criminal Minds. And by far the most popular special event we've had was we had Scott Buchwald and Tony Didio, who's a prop master and lead armor for these major motion pictures. They are the guys that handle the guns, the weaponry for these movies. And so we had a special event here with all the students, thanks to Mark Bashan, where they actually came in and brought all these weapons. And the coolest part about this lab, maybe, if you guys think so, was that the students actually get to fire these guns, fire the guns from Terminator 2, and fire the guns from these major television shows. And so I'll show you the last clip.
Tony concentrates solely on the weapons, so he's a specialist in that.
Something like that.
Fire in the hole.